All right, you guys, thank you so much for calling in for week one of our 6-week bootcamp series. My name is Lauren Sims, and I'm super excited to be hosting this 6-week series, at least partially, but I'm going to have some other people, hop on and do some trainings over the next 6 weeks as well. But one of the visions I had a couple weeks ago or a month ago was that so many people say, what do I do? What do I do with my new people? What do I do when someone wants to build this business? And a lot of us, use isogenicsbusiness.com and, the start here flow. A lot of us have created our own systems and are like, well, maybe I should make a list, or maybe I should, make my map to crystal executive, or maybe I should get to an event, or maybe I should listen to GoPro. And it's just really inconsistent. And we want to make sure that the person you personally enroll, or the person 10, 20, 30 levels down in our organization, that everybody's getting onboarded, everybody's getting supported, everybody's learning the same thing, everybody's speaking the same language, that no one's getting left behind, and we're just moving people through the ranks and getting them up to speed. So if someone goes to school to become a nurse, they get the same training. And if someone goes to school to be a massage therapist or a nutritionist or a lawyer, they get the same training. And sometimes with network marketing, it's like, oh my gosh, I see the vision. And then there's no training, or it's different for everybody, and people just fall through the cracks, and they're frustrated before they've ever really learned the skills. And so the vision was that we'd have 30 to 60-minute trainings where we're all speaking the same language, we're all doing the same thing, that if someone calls Michelle, or reaches out to Nicole, or texts Heather and says, okay, I want to do this business, where do I start? You can say, hey, I want you to watch the 6 bootcamp series. They're 1 hour each in 6 hours. Get yourself a foundation, and then we can kind of expand upon that. So over the next 6 weeks, we're going to talk about company history. We're going to review connecting both online and offline. We're going to review kind of staying organized, your daily operations, income producing activities, time management type things. We're going to review overcoming objections. We're going to review the associate back office, getting familiar with that and the reports, and then also parts of the compensation plan, which would include our rank advancement bonuses, the double PIBs, residual income, and things like that. So that's what we have kind of in the pipeline. And tonight, we're going to start with talking about the company history. And I want to read 2 things that actually come from the website before I tell you the story and we kind of break it down. And I also am going to tell you a little bit about my story, and then kind of overview why it's so important that we understand our company history and what makes us different, what makes us special. And so much of that has to do with our core values and the culture. And when you're passionate about something, you're going to protect it. When you're passionate about something, you want to share it. And that's why I chose this to be week 1, because without the culture of Isogenics, we are no different than anybody else. And that is something that, bar none, sets us apart. So on the website, you guys, if you go and you're reading about Isogenics, there's something that says about Isogenics, and it's our purpose. And I just posted these pictures in the pages for those of you, have seen it, but I want to read it, because a year from now, when people watch this in recorded time, they're going to be like, what'd she post? But the purpose, different than our mission statement, it says Isogenics is a trusted and respected organization that exists to inspire and empower individuals, families, and communities to live their best life through a journey of nutrition, health, and overall wellness. I mean, just that, like, our purpose of what we're doing should get every one of you excited. I just happened to get off one of the leadership calls, and Travis Garza, who is our chief sales officer, was like, so many of us play small. So many of us play small. And the only thing I could think about as he was saying that is we're disconnected from our purpose. What we're doing as individuals to work as a community and work as an organization to impact lives. And the second thing I wanted to read to you was what we call the story. And these are both from the website, just to kind of kick off the call, that for those of you that don't know much about our company history, maybe you've never listened to a podcast about it, you've never been to an event, to really understand what you're a part of. And it says, we are dreamers, believers, and achievers of transformation. We are lovers of purpose and passion. We are leaders in wellness. We are experts in entrepreneurship. We are innovation and integrity. We don't wait for opportunities, we make them happen. We are a lifestyle. We live the ISA life. We celebrate the efforts and victories of others. We are a global family. No shortcuts, no excuses. Only the best in nature and science. No compromise products that work and work well. We give back and move forward. We see health as the destination, but wellness as the journey. We are in this together. We are Isagenix. You guys save it, go to the website. I mean, just like get excited. I mean, that's written by our founders, you know, Kathy and Jim and Eric and the executive leadership team of like, what are we doing and what's the purpose? And like I said, if we don't have the culture, if we don't have our core values, that is the number one thing that people will say makes Isagenix so different. So we know that we've got cutting edge products. We know that we have this unwavering compensation plan. We know that we have solutions that transform lives. But the reason that people stay and they fall in love with this company, even if they're not making money, is because of the community, because of our core values, because of the culture. And 2 years ago, I was a President's Quest winner. For those of you that don't know what that is, the top 8 leaders in action at the time are awarded a trip with the founders of the company. And I remember one of the last dinners, we were sitting around the round tables on the cruise ship having dinner, and Jim Coover, who's our CEO, you know, co-founder of Isagenix, was asking, you know, what can we do to make it better? What can we do to improve in the field? What can we do to make things better for you guys? And I'm thinking how humbling that we have this multiple, you know, billion-dollar company and they're so successful and they're working so hard, and he's asking us, how can they get better? When it came around to be my turn, I had said, what can we do? What can we do to make things better? And he just said, the minute that we lose the culture, the minute that we lose the Isagenix story, Jim and Kathy and I came out of retirement for nothing. Like, that's how important that is. And that's why we want to talk about it, because when people can really get behind why Isagenix did what they did, it's so hard to make this about yourself, because there's like literally an overwhelming calling on your heart to pay it forward, because you know that they're busting their butts today for all of us. We are all here because of what they did. That stop thinking about what this has to do with you. And I think if, you know, Jim and Kathy are doing calls at 7 a.m. and 9 p.m., we have to be doing calls. We can't play small. We have to be growing this company. So we have 3 people that created Isagenix, 3 founders. You know, Jim and Kathy kind of do the business side, and John Anderson ended up becoming the master formulator. But at the time, 3 people that created Isagenix. And it started with John Anderson. So if you guys want to look up John Anderson, he's known as the Mineral Man. He had created thousands of different supplements for hundreds of different companies, all of which changed his formulas and put fillers or additional ingredients in his products that they made them less effective, but there was a higher profit margin. And he was frustrated by it. You know, he's a brilliant scientist, and he would create these amazing, amazing solutions, these amazing, amazing supplements, and people were money hungry and they were compromising them. And he, you know, kind of didn't want any part of it. He worked for Nature's Plus and Nature's Way. I mean, the list goes on and on. And he ended up actually having an infection. He's a type 1 diabetic. He was bit by a brown recluse spider. And the infection was so badly, at one point they had talked about amputating his foot. And he created the Cleanse for Life. And the Cleanse for Life, which healed his infection. And remember, we don't treat or diagnose anything. But the Cleanse for Life, which was, you know, absolutely instrumental in his own healing, he went to Jim and Kathy basically with a vision of, we can impact world health. He saw some of the health epidemics that were starting, you know, in the early 2000s, and knew if he was able to do it for himself, he could do it for others. And so that's John Anderson's story. Kathy Coover, who's the wife of Jim Coover, she used to be a dental hygienist. And then when her son, Eric, was very young, she decided she wanted to be home. She was, you know, tired of, you know, sticking in, you know, people's mouths and doing all of that. It wasn't her thing. She felt really restricted with her time and her money. And Jim really pursued her, or encouraged her to pursue network marketing. She rose to the top of 3 different network marketing companies. 2 of them, she was the #1 income earner. When you guys start to understand our compensation plan and we have to build 2 legs, she built 10. I mean, she had 10 diamond legs, platinum legs. This woman hustled, and she did it for decades. She was in retirement, you know, well off for the rest of her life. But one of the things that Kathy brings to this table is that she had been in the trenches. She had been in the field, that she knows what it's like to be on our side and not the corporate side. And Jim, who actually at first, he kind of has a history in bodybuilding. He was into health and wellness. He was one of the original founders of Cambridge, which was a shake company. So kind of did some network marketing stuff from there, but was really a business guy. You know, he just has incredible business acumen, an incredible skill set. And John Anderson went to them and just said, like, you guys, like, we can have the largest health and wellness company in the world. Like, I have the science, Jim has the business brains, the business acumen, everything that would go on, you know, to be behind our compensation plan. Kathy had the people skills. She knew how to make the tools. She knew what it took to connect and prospect and duplicate and rank advance. And with the three of them in 2002, launched Isogenics, which means the balanced life, if you don't know that, which is really fun. I think when you kind of start to learn that. And in about 2004, 2005, John Anderson kind of stepped out from the business side of it and just went back into the science. And Jim and Kathy have been running the company since. The three of them had such an amazing vision. And when they started, you guys, it was like literally the three of them. Like Jim Coover and Kathy were handwriting checks, you know, writing the envelopes, stamping them themselves. And to think now that the company literally has a day, a holiday, which is a birth date of Isogenics, because they have employed so many people in Arizona during times of recession. They've been hiring, they've been in growth. I mean, they have merit awards from the Direct Selling Association, from, I just lost my train of thought, from the Better Business Bureau. They've got stuff from, where did I just go? The Stevie Awards? Sorry, I'm all over the place. The Stevie Awards, which is like the Grammy Awards for business. I mean, there's so much recognition because of who they are, that like there's literally a holiday in Gilbert, Arizona that the mayor gave them because of the impact that they've had. So to think about that, these three people, you know, had a vision that we were going to be a global company, and it started with them just locking arms. It started with them coming together. That's what makes us so special. And when I've always said over and over and over, one of the things that makes Isogenics so dynamic and so special is that we're about contribution. We're about service. We're about giving back. And that's because you took three people, you know, in their late 40s or early 50s, John Anderson a little bit older, out of retirement. They did not have to do this. They didn't need to do this. Three people out of retirement because they wanted to impact others' lives. They wanted to free people of physical and financial pain. That's what makes us so special, because the whole company is built on service. And that's why the compensation plan is so generous, because they're giving back so much per dollar of profit to the field, because they did this for us. They did this for other people. And that's why we're a one team. That's why we all help each other. That's why we're not competitive. And since the beginning, it's like we're stronger in numbers. We will all be more successful if we work together. And so I want to tell you, you know, some of the company statistics, but I also will share with you the vision. If you guys don't know the vision statement, and you guys can look this up, you can just Google Isogenics vision statement, but it's to impact world health and free people from physical and financial pain, and in the process create the largest health and wellness company in the world. You know, and that's something that, you guys, I used to have that written on my vision board. But when people say, like, you know, I don't want to call somebody, or what if they think I'm selling something, or what if they, you know, think I'm bugging them, that if you can get behind the vision statement, we're a messenger to this massive movement. We're a messenger of a massive organization that is literally freeing lives around the globe of physical and financial pain. Like, why would you not tell people? Why would you not pay this forward? I mean, people are begging for this. I mean, they are praying for somebody to reach out to them with our health solutions or the wealth solutions. We are now an international company. So it started in the US, we're in Mexico, we're in Canada, we're in New Zealand, we're in Australia, we're in Spain, we're in Ireland, we're in the UK. What am I forgetting? We're in Colombia, we're in Malaysia. Again, it's on the website under the international countries, but it's like, who do you know? Who do you know? Like, and to think about these three people that came out of retirement 16 years ago and where we are now, it's absolutely mind-blowing. So in the 16 years, you guys, there's over 1,000 people employed by Isogenics. 600 are in the local Isogenics office in Gilbert, the world headquarters, even though we have different employees like around the globe in different headquarters. We have done over $6 billion in cumulative sales. Last year, we were just shy of $1 billion. We're on track again to do over $1 billion in 1 year this year. And so when you think about just the trajectory of where Isagenix is going and the evolution, it's super exciting. So we started with the 9-day. Some of you may know that we were known as a weight loss company, and the only thing available was the 9-day cleanse. And it was like shakes, the accelerator, you know, your Isoflush, and the cleanse. And over 16 years, we have added on the vitamins, we've added on the greens, the fruits, the entire performance line. I mean, Amped line is only 2.5 years young. The e-shots, the skincare, all of our snacking options, like the slim cakes and the fiber bars, and to be understanding that we're still just getting started. You know, that like every few months and every year we're getting innovative and we're creating new things. You just know that you're at the right company at the right place at the right time, and they have the best researchers, the best field advisory board, the best scientific team, the people that are doing the labor behind us to improve our technology, to improve our apps, to improve the tools, whatever it may be, so that the field is always set up for success and we can keep reaching new people with new goals and new health solutions. So I wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about our core values. And a few years ago, Isagenix came out with something, and they said, what defines us? And they had asked the field, they'd asked the executive leadership team, they had asked the field advisory board, you know, like, what, if you were to describe Isagenix, what is it? Like, what defines us? And what they ended up with was what now has become our 12 core values. And they're health, freedom, innovation, integrity, contribution, gratitude, goal-driven, purpose, transformation, leadership development, fun, and family. And when you think about, you know, if you were to think about a company, how would you describe anything? How would you describe Walmart? How would you describe Whole Foods? How would you describe Amazon? How would you describe Herbalife? How would you describe it? Like, what would you want to be known as? Even yourself, you know, if you could say the 5 words people would describe me as, what would that look like? Or what would people say? And these are the 12 things that define Isagenix, right? This is the core values of who we are. And again, it's health, it's contribution, it's transformation, it's freedom, gratitude, leadership development, innovation, goal-driven, fun, family, purpose, and integrity. And sometimes when I, you know that people are stuck and they're kind of getting in their own way, I'll say, look at our core values. Like, look what you're a part of, and just read each one and pause on it for a second and reflect how that has shown up in your life because of Isagenix. And you're going to want to move mountains to pay this forward. So if you start with the first one, you just say health. What in the heck was your health like before Isagenix? And what is it like now? Or think about your rockstar cleansers. Every single person on here has sponsored at least one person, right? Think about the one person that was so impacted by Isagenix that you were like, oh my gosh, had I not told them, they would still be exhausted every day. They'd still be 40 pounds overweight. They would still, right? If you could do that for one person, why not go do it for 500 people? So like when you look at our core values and do some reflection, you can really get behind the mission of what we're doing. So contribution. Think about what Isagenix does as a company, how much we give to Make-A-Wish, and the lives that have been, the wishes that have been granted because of that. You know, Isagenix is so big in contribution. They're constantly doing charity events and organizations, and you see them be involved with natural disasters. And I know for myself, now that I do this full time, I volunteer more than I ever have. I mean, for the last year, I've been a big sister with the Big Sister, Big Brother organization, or I said that the backwards way, but you know what I'm talking about. I would never have been able to do that as I was working, clocking in and clocking out. But I think every single day, people have worked so hard that I had this opportunity. Like, I want to create opportunity for other people. Transformation. You guys, everything about us transforms when you step in to Isagenix. Your physical body, your financial situation, your personal development, your spiritual, your emotional health, your friends, your travel schedule. There's so many things, but it's like in that brown box, it doesn't warn you, hey, by the way, you're never going to be the same person. You know, everybody gets better with Isagenix. And it's not just because you shrink wrap your waist and you build on, additional muscle. The personal development growth along this, the friends that are going to come into your life, the experiences that you're going to have, the seminars that you're going to attend, the podcast, all of those things, every bit of you is transforming. And that's something we're a part of. The freedom, when I have had the privilege of seeing, Alex, doing things with her kids because she's not in a 9-to-5 teaching anymore. Jen and Adam being able to be in their kids' classrooms in the middle of the day and the doors that it starts to open, or knowing that people can go on vacation or they're not having to pay for their products. I mean, just being able to say yes to the things that you would have had to say no to. I mean, freedom is a huge part of this. In gratitude, every one of us in the field has gratitude. When you talk about Jim and Kathy and we're like, she's the mother of this company, the Papa Bear of this company and what they do, we can feel it. Like, we feel how hard they work for us. I know I have immense gratitude for my enrolling sponsor, immense gratitude for Janny, who mentored me. And a lot of you do. A lot of you have said, oh my gosh, if Jen had not called me, if Laura had not called me, if Chris had not called me, if Rachel had not called me, whatever that may be, you are so grateful because you look, you feel, you think different because someone reached out to you. I mean, whatever that may be, feel it. This is one of our core values. Leadership development. We rise up by raising others up. When you can see that the more you reach down and the more you pull others up, the more you reach down and lift others up, that your success is completely dependent on how hard you're willing to work for somebody else. A lot of companies aren't like that. If anyone's ever around me, when people start to question if this is MLM and the person at the top makes all the money, it bothers me because corporate America is that way. People hustle and hustle and hustle and hustle, and they are working so hard so that the people at the top are really benefiting. And this business model is not that way. You cannot just sit up there and collect. It is so dependent on reaching down and pouring into others, and it doesn't get more selfless than that, which makes it rewarding. It makes it fulfilling. Innovation, you guys, Isagenix is always on the cutting edge of new science, new apps, new research, new products. Like, we're not going to get complacent. And the fact that we're on the forefront, we're just on the cusp of always what's up and coming. We don't have to worry about this company going anywhere. Goal driven, I mean, people want to achieve things. We have goals because we know that if we hit these goals, we have impacted more lives. We're not playing small. We are stretching ourselves and our abilities to pay it forward. And fun. I mean, if you've never been to one of our events, this is my plug, right now, to get to Nashville and come to Celebration, but any event. I mean, we've had I think some of the artists, now I can't think of any, Cilio, Adam, chime in here. Tell me the artists that we've had. I'm like, I just drew a blank on the concerts that we've had. LL Cool J, Dallas Cheerleaders. Who else has performed with us? Flow Rider.
Maroon 5, big concert.
Maroon 5, big one. We've had Tony Robbins, Brandon Burchard is coming. I mean, the company's investing to make it fun. Recognition is really fun. The trips, the cruises, the vacations that can be won. I think just within our own team and the culture, and, we get together and we do tasting parties together. We go have work dates or mommy play dates at coffee shops or whatever that is. It's fun. So many people go to an office and they sit in a cubicle and they're not recognized. They're not heard. There isn't a lot of interaction. And this is one of our core values. Purpose, I mean, that's the fulfillment. That's that there's value. That's that we want to have a legacy, that we're not just going through the motions, that there's something behind it. Family, it's a family company. So many people in this business are building with their families. They're building with their spouse. They're building with their children. They're building with their parents, that they see the legacy. They see the impact. And the last one that I want to talk about is integrity. I mean, Isagenix is known for doing things the right way. And there's stories that don't need to be told right now, but there are times when Isagenix, could have made a decision that may have benefited the company, financially, but it wouldn't have been the right decision. And the company took the hit to be able to stand with integrity and say, we do the right thing. We have a one team culture so that we all support each other, that we all believe in abundance. We all believe in paying it forward. And that is something when I think about the jadedness or the, kind of negative stigmas that direct selling can come with, that Isagenix doesn't carry any of that. Isagenix doesn't have all of that negative nonsense because of these core values and because we have so much integrity. You know, even most recently with the dairy-free shakes, I'm sure you guys, and I can just say this from my nutrition background, I'm sure that they could have grabbed any type of vegan protein and put it in there, but it didn't meet our standards. It wasn't a good quality, and it was a better decision to pull it for a short period of time and maintain that standard, to have the integrity that we only use the best ingredients from raw materials to finished product than to put something in there just as a space filler. I mean, those are the things that, in the long term, brand us in such a good way. And so we started in 2002, 16 years ago, with Jim and Kathy and John Anderson. And Eric Coover, who is the son of Jim and Kathy, he is, getting primed at some point, I'm sure, to take the company over, but he is the legacy of Isogenics. And excuse me, he created the START movement for Isogenics, and that's for young people. And he resisted joining his parents for a long time. You know, he has a history as a golf player, and he wanted to play pro golf, which is not an inexpensive sport. And Jim and Kathy were like, okay, do it, but you've got to fund your way. Like, they weren't just going to give him handouts. And he wanted flexibility, and he wanted freedom, and he built his own team. A lot of you don't know this, but he was on the field side, and he built an organization, and later on ended up joining his parents in corporate America. But he is now the senior vice president of global field development. I mean, he is just on the cutting edge of our international expansion and our international development. But he had this vision for START, because when he decided to join, he was like, Mom, like, everybody in the company is old. Like, I can't invite my friends to this, like, it's not sexy. And he just gave the company a facelift. I mean, one of the fastest growing segments of the company is the START community, because young people want to have legacy. Young people want to have, freedom. They want to have flexibility. They don't necessarily want to clock in and clock out or have a uniform. And what started on a Facebook, starts like 70,000 people now. I mean, it's mind blowing what they've been able to do and some of the incomes that these young people are doing. And so Eric, just is amazing. He's so into personal development. He never stops learning. He never stops growing. And it just shows that this company is never going anywhere. I mean, the accolades that we have in the foundation that we have, we're privately held. We're not ever going to go public. We don't have to worry about some of those things. And our EL team, the executive leadership team, Jim and Kathy, they brought on a lot of people all at once, and then they knew kind of what got us here is not going to get us there. And we'd hit that multiple $million mark, but in order to get to the billion, they restructured that and handpicked the best of the best and put this team together that's really going to take this company to $1 billion and beyond. And to know that we're led by Travis Ogden and Travis Garza, and I encourage you guys, if you have not, go to the Isogenics page, look at the executive leadership team. Read their resumes, look them up on LinkedIn, and you are never going to have to waver if you are with the right company. There are so many at-risk network marketing companies, you guys. The majority of companies that get started, like 94% or something, fail within the first 5 years. Isogenics is new in terms of where we're ranked with the Direct Selling Association, and we're competing with companies that have been around 50 or 75 years, things like Shaklee and Herbalife and Melaleuca and Mary Kay. But we have passed that risky standpoint. We're 16 years solid, and we've been growing every single year. That I share this with you because people say, I know the products work or this, but I don't know anything about the company. And when we get into our belief system of where's your belief in network marketing, or where's your belief in the products, where's your belief in yourself, one of the things we talk about is your belief in Isogenics. And it's so important that you understand our company history, that you understand our core values, that you can get behind the culture, because this company will be there when you least expect it. This company will support you. They will encourage you. They'll push you. They'll challenge you, but they're not going anywhere. And if you have trust in it, I promise you it will open doors and move mountains in a way that you cannot imagine. And so I promised that I would share a little bit of my story. Some of you know, some of you don't know, and that I'd actually would love to just invite, if Rachel or Laura or Jen or any of the leaders on here wanted to chime in and just share a couple things specific to the company history that maybe I didn't cover that is important for the team to know, I want to open that up. But in 2013, when I was introduced to Isagenix, I was at my complete rock bottom, and I knew that if something didn't change, nothing was going to change. And I was introduced to Isagenix. I quickly could get behind the products. Not only did I try them, and I had a couple of people in my friends and family try it. Because of my nutritional background, I read the ingredients. It made sense to me. I saw the no compromised ingredients and all of that. I believed in the compensation plan pretty quickly because I was earning so quickly that even before I'd mastered it, I was like, well, I'm getting paid for the things they said I would get paid. So I had trust in that. I did not have a belief in network marketing at all as a business. All I knew was all the things that we don't want to know about the industry, like all the horror stories. So I got to work on learning this business, and that's when I listened to GoPro, and I listened to Jim Rohn, and I listened to oh my God, who's Rich Dad, Poor Dad? Where is my brain to this? Is like my post-Mexico brain. But I just started mastering the business and like listening to podcasts. And I said, okay, like I have to figure this out. I went to school, for 8 years to become a master in nutrition. I have to learn this skill. But the number one thing that held me back was Isagenix. And a lot of people right away like, oh, I like Isagenix. And I remember thinking, I know nothing about this company. I'm not putting all of my eggs in one basket for something I know nothing about. And I actually had such a fear behind it because all I ever heard was the companies that were closing or the next lawsuit that happened. And I was so fearful to join something, and then all of a sudden it shut down or something happened to it. And Jenny said, you have to go to the corporate office. And I was like, what? And she's like, you have to go, you have to meet them, you have to see it. And she literally stuck me on a plane. And this was the time I was so busy working all my jobs, but I went in on a early flight on Friday morning. I was picked up in a limousine, taken to the corporate office, had this whole tour, met with everybody, and then flew home that night. I mean, it was so fast, but it was a moment that pivotally changed my belief in what I was going to do. And that's why I want to continue to share it with you, not for my experience, but why it was so transformational. When I first walked in the doors, and this was the old corporate office, you guys, this was before the new one that was built and opened 2 years ago. I just remember walking in and thinking like, I am in the Willy Wonka of nutrition. Like there was motivation signs and there was recognition and there was celebration and it was fun and it was clean and it was green friendly, and the people working there, like they weren't pissed off like most corporate America, like they were excited to be there. And I was like, wow. And it was so warm and meeting people. But I remember just talking to Eric Hoover. And I didn't really know who he was at the time. And I obviously knew he was the son of the founders. I didn't have a relationship with him. I never talked with him one-on-one or anything like that. And I was asking so many questions. I was so paranoid, you guys. I was so nervous. And I was just drilling him on the products and drilling him on the industry and this and that. And I will never forget this. And it was so calming. And he just said, Lauren, Isagenix brings out the best in people. And he said, my parents came out of retirement to make this world a better place. We're not going anywhere. And it was like, okay, I'm on board. And I was thinking, there's not a better company in the world to partner with. There's not a better company with a better mission, a better vision, better core values. And I'm not saying we're the best of the best. I'm sure there's other great companies out there. But as a sole proprietor, as a nutritionist, I was never going to find leadership like that, friendships like that, mentorship like that, a community, a company to collaborate with. And I study the network marketing industry all the time because I want to be prepared when I'm cross-recruited. And we are literally the gold standard in the company. I mean, Eric and Jim and Kathy used to say that we are ambassadors in the profession. And recently, Eric said we're ambassadors for the globe. I mean, we are just cutting edge. I mean, everything they've just done recently to be Mother Earth nice and, green friendly with changing our products and the shipping and the way the lights and the energy and the wind and everything is at the corporate office, that it's really, really exciting to kind of be behind. And so just think about right now, I mean, how many people are working in corporate America? They could lose their job at any single day. Retail jobs are getting cut left and right because people are going online shopping. There's so much of the medical profession, which is changing because insurance is changing. I mean, there's people in at-risk positions, real estate, whatever it may be, and they're willing to take that leap and say, okay, but you know, if it doesn't work out, I'll find something else. That encourage yourself to do this with Isagenix and then others. And I'm not telling you quit your jobs or anything, except give this a chance and give it a real chance. I mean, put as much time in as you would if you were getting another job, if it was your full-time job. And absolutely, Emily, I just saw her comment on there. And really, really dive in and just trusting the fact that the hard work has been paved. I mean, Isagenix business, you can learn everything you need to learn about this business. The forms are there, the videos are there, the podcasts are there, the events are there, the website is there, the apps are there, but no one's going to hand it to you. You know, no one's going to just hand you everything and say, okay, here you go. I mean, you've got to have skin in the game. You have to put in the hard work. But if you're willing to invest the time and lean on this company, I promise you, I've seen it time and time again, the doors are just going to open up. So before we close, and if there's any questions, if Rach or Michelle or Jen and Adam or Laura, if any of you guys have something you want to chime in, if maybe what you've seen about the company or anything about the company history, facts or things that I didn't say, I want this call to be, you know, used in months and weeks to come, that I invite you guys to hop out and share.
I'll say something really quick. This is Emily.
Hi.
Hey. So yeah, I just, you know, it was funny because I really have, like, I mean, I'm very new with this myself. You know, I'm only like my first month in, but I've been seeing results. I've been feeling results. I've been feeling great. And it's funny because, I mean, people that I wouldn't like, I'm in sales. That's what I do for a living. And I'm really burnt out on sales. But this is so much different than what I typically do because I'm sitting at a desk and I'm making all these calls and I'm calling people and they're just angry and they're upset, you know. But I've attracted people to this. And I think it's just because I've had such a positive attitude. I've loved the products. They've worked for me. You know, it's definitely changed my life. So it was very interesting. Like someone I really did not think was going to be, I didn't think they were going to buy in it. You know, I told them what I was doing. She's a police officer, so she's my best friend, and she does a lot of, like, you know, she's working out constantly. She's doing so many different activities. She's very healthy, you know, she eats really well. But I sold her on the fact of the convenience. Like, this is so convenient, and you're getting the same nutrients that you would get, if not better, probably better, you know, and I'm not a like, I don't know all this stuff, but I'm just like, you know, you're getting the nutrients that you know you need, and you're not spending all this time doing this. Like you're like, so she bought on and she is so excited, and it's her first week and she doesn't have social media, but like she is so excited, and it's
Miss Emily,
really, really fun.
This is awesome. And I'm going to cut you off only because it's great, but because we're doing this as a business training and I want to use these for everybody and just keep them, I want to chit chat and celebrate you and her a little bit off this call, but just keep it super focused right now. And just, no, you're great. You're totally awesome. And honestly, I might stop the recording and then just ask questions at the end, but just our team that's executive or six figures and above, if you guys have anything specific just to the company history, something that has landed on you about Jim Coover, Kathy Coover, John Anderson, like, I'd love for you to share that. And if not, we'll stop the recording and then we can ask questions and do some takeaways and shares, because that's always really fun. So Laura says, she's typing, I've had the pleasure and honor of having dinner and chatting with the Cougars. I've never met anyone down to earth, more caring, loving people. It's really true. Laura and Jen and Melanie, they won a trip and we had dinner with them, and we've sat in the president of the company's backyard and met his wife. I mean, they just are there. They will do whatever it takes. You can text them, they'll text you back, and just really getting excited about who they are, what they're about, where we're going. I just want that to land on you guys, you know, and I joke right now with my boyfriend that I say, I don't sell shakes, you know, like people say, I don't sell shakes. And when I get a testimonial for somebody, or you see somebody in the company is doing, we don't sell shakes. Like, we don't sell shakes. And sometimes we get in our head of like, oh my gosh, this person's going to think I'm selling shakes. That I promise you, Jimmy and Kathy are not working this hard simply because they're selling shakes. We're changing lives or impacting lives. And knowing that history, you know, that John Anderson, the product came around because he healed himself. his own health issues, and then partnered with the two best people in this industry. I mean, Jim had been in the network marketing industry and ran companies and written the best compensation plans. I mean, he had written part of the Amway's original compensation plan. And Kathy had risen to the top. And that's where this brilliance, this mastermind trio has just created this beautiful, beautiful, beautiful company. So I am going to stop the recording. You guys, please stay tuned for the next 5 weeks. We have 5 more calls to follow up. And please share this with your new builders, people that are hopping on board, just enough that they always get the story and that people never forget what we're about, our core values, our mission statement, our vision, and everything that got us here is going to get us there. So thank you guys so much.